All right. Thank you. Thank you, team. I wanted to welcome everybody here tonight. You know, I was playing with the comments. It's amazing. So my name is Michael Silvers. I'm Vice President of the Los Angeles Tribune, and I'm in a hotel, right? You do whatever it takes. You do the show. And a lot of the show is going to be about healing tonight, about getting through adversity, moving forward. Why is that? Because we are a Los Angeles-based paper. Even though this show is going out to 50 countries, I see people here already from the Philippines, from Malaysia, from Japan jumping on. But the biggest thing that I want everybody to know is that it is truly about how we move forward in our journey, because our journey in so many different ways has taken so many of us through adversity. And it doesn't have to be an overwhelming event. For some of us who are a little bit older, I went through Los Angeles. I lived in the valley during the Northridge earthquake. Pretty much everything we had was gone. Does that make sense? A lot of people I knew were in the same situation. And what did you do next? How do you take that next piece, which is always the beginning part of it? And part of it, too, is also about celebration. So tonight, I wanted to let everybody know that we have the amazing Sheila E will be with us. I'll be bringing her up in just about 4 minutes. We have Trevor Boone is zooming in, and we were, by the way, just let me backtrack. We were all going to be at Barnes and Noble Live, and we had an event because it's really about celebration. I mean, look at Sheila's career and what she's created, and the Grammy nod and everything going on, and then obviously what happened in LA through the show, and we decided we're just postponing it. It's always the way you do it. You just postpone it because we will have it again live, and we will bring Sheila live, because I know those of you who said, I saw her banner all over Barnes and Noble. I was so excited to meet her, and we bought her books. So for those of you that purchased the books, by the way, they are at Barnes and Noble, and they can give them to you, or you can wait till we have the next show and they'll be there for you. So we thank you for that. And for myself and the Los Angeles Tribune, we've been out there as a team. It's a team and a family. We've fed the first responders. We've donated meals to the first responders. Our partnership with the Salvation Army and so many others is really about bringing healing to an area. At the same time, I've talked to many of my friends who were affected, and they said, let's move through. Let's keep going. Let's, we don't let this, it's LA strong, right? We just keep on going every day. And I think that's a really big piece. But we want all of you who are making comments right now, just going in. This is fantastic, because I see the comments like, let us know what country you are calling in from, or that you're in. The comments are live during this show, so you can always have the comments rolling at the same time, and we'll address the ones that we can. But with 2 minutes left before I bring Sheila up, I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have partnerships. And one of the partnerships is with the Los Angeles Mission. So if we could bring up that slide, Jeff and Karen, you'll meet them later. They're on the team. Karen's a big. We really want you to give. And with that giving, we would love that the Los Angeles Mission is one of our partners. And what we wrote here is, during these trying times, we encourage you to support our partners at the Los Angeles Mission as they continue their incredible work helping those in need. Visit losangelesmission.org, or you can take your cameras out right now, point it right at that QR code, and donate and give. It's absolutely up to you, however it is. I know so many people that have been there every day volunteering, and that's the way it is. People working with first responders, the first responders that have been on the phones, just talking to people. Okay, Jeff, you can take it down. The first responders that have just been on the phone talking to people, walking them through what they need to know. And it's about healing. And I am going to have Jeff on later, who's from Australia, and he's part of our team, because at one time, literally the whole country was going through this. It was burning. And it's been, again, how do you get through that? But it's still, don't get caught in that. Don't get into that, oh, woe is me. It's look for somebody to talk to. Look for somebody out there that can truly help you. Look for a community to talk to and be with. It makes sense every single time. So without any further ado, this next amazing woman that I'm going to bring up has had quite the career. Not only is she up for the Grammys in the Latin category, I love it, right? But she, for years, had this amazing career that I watched all the time. She obviously was with Prince for a long time, and she is just always about charity and helping others. Her foundation in Oakland and so many other things have made such a difference. And you know what? Like some other people in LA, she was also evacuated. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up, there we go, Miss Sheila E. Sheila, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Michael?
Oh, it's great to have you on, because I know you were evacuated and you had to deal with what other people did in the area. And you've been a long time LA resident.
Yes.
And it is your community, and it is your family. And so many people are actually so excited to meet you live. But everybody, this is live. Sheila's live, right? Just because she's not signing a book or she's not with you there, we still have a worldwide audience that is able to now be part of this. So, I wanted to start out, if it's okay, with a little bit about the journey is not always as easy, right? Your journey to where you are today has not always taken a straight and narrow road. And there's been some adversities. And do you mind talking a little bit about that and really how you got here today?
Absolutely. First, I wanted to say hello to everyone all over the world, and thank you for being here for the Los Angeles Tribune. Yes, we were going to be live, but we're still live. We're live right here because of technology. So it's amazing to be able to be here with everyone. Um, there's so many people going through things right now, not just in our country, and we're going through these fires, and there's other things that are happening, like the first week of January in the world. So I just want to send prayers and love out to you, to everyone out there that's watching and listening. And just real quickly, yes, I was evacuated. I've been out of my house for 10 days. I'm blessed. I'm at my parents' house now. We evacuated from here as well. But I have my parents, all my family, everyone's good. I finally was let in for 2 minutes today. I went up to my house, it's there. And it's all good. I wasn't worried anyway, but that's not even important because you can't put a price on life. And so those of you, like when you were saying before, getting caught up in the things that are going on here in Los Angeles, it's a lot. And it's hard not to get caught up in it. And I have to address that because, we're here and we're giving and we're trying to be a part of bringing people together in the community and donating and sharing, reposting all the things in different ways that you can give and be a part of the situation now. And our thoughts and our prayers go out to all of those who are really affected by these fires. It's horrible to even look at on television, let alone be here. Um, but like I said, I'm one of the blessed ones. My family, we are truly blessed to have not, other than to smoke, and being evacuated is not a big deal at this point. So just thank you, everyone, and keep praying for everyone here and doing what you can to donate. My road here to get here, and sorry, because we're live, my dog wants to keep going out. So uh,
No worries.
we have
We're
to take
live.
care.
This is great.
We Yeah, we have to take care of the animals too.
Yeah.
Um, my journey. I'm here in my parents' house in my dad's office, and just to be able, every time I come into this room, and there's so many things that he has here in this office, and the trophies and the awards and the accolades and the all the things that he's gotten, and he can't even put everything up, and it's just a blessing to be able to see that. And truly, my parents have been my guardian angels. They have mentored me throughout my life and still mentoring, and just given me that gift to be able to, it started with them, really bringing music into the home and them themselves being who they are. I am a portion of each one of them, and together that creates me. And it's just so awesome to be able to uh, have music as my career and to be able to go all over the world and share, music and play drums and percussion and be able to write and produce. And I just love the whole journey of um, the production and behind the scenes of production itself, whether it be, music or, helping produce an artist, bringing bands together or artists together for other bands and artists. Whatever needs to be done. Again, growing up in the environment of watching my dad put things together, was pretty awesome. And so I would be behind the scenes going, oh, wait, how do you roll up this cord for the microphone? God, got it. Yeah, there's a way to do that. What mics are they using? Oh, okay. And the lights and, oh, I think that they should have. And then I started thinking, well, wait a minute. If I was doing it, I would do it this way. And then all of a sudden, when you're in your early teens and you're still a part of, my dad's life being backstage, you see things happening. You're just like, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. So that is the journey, really, because of my parents, both of them being so amazing.
The great thing about journeys too, because right, it is we always work on everything we do in a way is somebody once made a joke in our world of personal development and the big speakers is since Socrates, everything is IP infringement. But it's truly, it's how we learn from those before us. And it's how our parents and grandparents and the generations and I hear sometimes from musicians too, I walked into, especially in LA, it was all music. There was music everywhere. And some cities and I'd walk into a cafe and there's somebody playing, and a week later it's some big name, right? Because they got picked up. But I saw how they did things. I saw even how they talked to the audience. And I think, the world of like podcasting has become huge now. And it's become a way that we speak to people. And I know it's really big in LA too. But the one thing that you do is you engage your audience and you help move hearts and minds. And that's part of what LA is going through right now. But can you talk a little bit about that of really, because you really do. You're not only are you a drummer, right? And you've got the beat and you've got them, but you really engage with your audience. Just talk a little bit about that. So, because there's a lot of people on here too, are a lot of podcasters, and they're learning how to try to engage their audiences.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that all the time. A lot of my musicians friends, they're like, and I tell them, like, you guys are way better than I am as far as, playing and technically and all the things. But they're like, yeah, but we don't engage like you do. And what is that? What does that mean? And how do you do it? Well, I grew up in an environment of a large family. And if you don't step up, you're going to be stepped on. And it ends up happening that because of my mom also being just the entertainer, like my mom is the entertainer, not my dad. My mom is. And growing up in an environment of a large family, we became the entertainment at every function, everything that we did. And we were lip syncing, pretending that we were the Jacksons or the Supremes or the Temptations or James Brown, Sammy Davis Jr., Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin. Like we tried to be everyone and pretending that we were them. We were always entertaining people. It was kind of normal for us to be a part of things. Like, my mom would sing da 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 da. That meant that was a cue. Wherever, if we were in the backyard, you're gonna run in. It's time to perform. And that part of it is really not being afraid to give eye contact with someone in the audience. Look out there and connect with someone. Look in their eyes and smile and play to someone, sing to someone, and welcome them, because we, growing up like that, we always felt once we got to the stage that the stage was still an extension of where we started, which was being in people's living rooms and backyards and quinceañeras and wherever and halls, and then small clubs and hole in the walls. So when we went on stage, it was like, well, this is the same thing. So we feel, and this is a mindset and a lifestyle. We feel that, okay, you're actually coming to see us perform. However, for us, that night in that place is our living room. And so you're coming into our house and we're going to serve you drinks, whatever, food. We're going to have fun. We're going to bring you in and make you a part of the show. And people want that. Like, it's breaking the ice, and it makes the audience feel like, oh my God, she's, I feel like I'm in your home. Absolutely. And that's really important, is really making people feel that we're all together as a family. And that's so important, because I do feel that. I feel that we're all family. And that's really important to people feeling that they can be a part of this show, because they are. What they give to us is what we give back, and if you're sitting there and nothing's going on, we're like, wow, we got to get that person up. We really go for those people who are sitting there not doing anything.
I love that, because you've said a couple of things, and one thing you've said, it's about the audience. So you literally, but you're always like walking into a family. There's that, because you came so much from your family, and you came so much from the audience is really just an extension. At the same time, it's to me, you're always being of service. As a musician, as a podcaster, in my world, when you walk onto a stage with 10,000 people who want to change in their life, it's always about how am I going to be for them? And I think that's really an important piece that you said there as you make that connection. And by the way, audience, questions are okay. We will take live questions if anybody has a question. The other thing too, and this came up last time, right? We had you at Barnes and Noble, and after you left, somebody. So I'm going to ask this because I promised, and I know they're watching the show tonight. They wanted to know two things. Number one, was there ever a time when you walked in front of a very large audience? How large was it that some fear came up, and how did you overcome it? That's the first question.
Absolutely. And again, it's hard. Well, here's the thing. You get nervous, and I get nervous every single time I do something in front of an audience, whether it's one person, two people, five people, 10,000, 6 million, 60 million. I'm still nervous. And that nervousness for me is knowing that, wow, I'm still excited about doing what I get to do. And I know that if that feeling of excitement and nervousness leaves, that means I don't even care. I shouldn't even be doing it anymore. And I feel like every time I do something, step on the stage, like it's the first time I've ever played, that excitement is, I just like, I get to play, I can't wait. I can't wait. But yeah, I mean, the first, well, I've done so many. Let me just think of one. Okay, well, so in 1983, when I was playing in the band with Lionel Richie on his tour, I think it was Tina Turner who was opening, possibly. I'm not sure, because there were two tours, and then the Pointer Sisters were opening, and then I opened with my band. But I think it was 83, and Lionel wanted me to sing the song that he did, the duet with Diana Ross. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna sing a Diana Ross. He goes, but you can sing it. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm gonna make sure that that I step into a situation. Like, I'm gonna make sure that even though I'm nervous and I'm scared, I know I can do it. This was, I'm not capable of singing a Diana Ross song. Let me just say no now. I'm not going to step into something I'm not capable of doing. That was a hard one, and that was nerve-wracking. And I just said no, no, no. So they ended up doing this wall of Diana singing, and pushed the wall while he sang to her, because back in the day things were different. But yeah, there was no way that I was going to do that. No.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's how you got through it. See, there's always ways, right? There's always ways around it too. And you talk a lot about, with what Ellie's going through right now, people are really going to have to, I talk about, find your family, find your team, find those around you. Talk a little bit about, through the adversity, how important your team has been to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people, and again, even for me, I used to think that I could do it all. I can do it all. Absolutely. I can do it all, and not a problem. And then you realize you hit a wall, and you're like, what the heck happened? I can't do this by myself. I'm trying to juggle everything. There's no way. I have an incredible team. And I think that that's really important in your life, not just because I'm in music, but in general. Your team of friends, your team of, like, for home, your team for, work, your team for serving the community, anything that their teamwork is really important. And I said this to you before, is that, a chair can't stand on two legs. It needs three. So you need at least three people in your circle, like two or three people. And I know it's hard to trust people. That's the other thing, because so many people take advantage of people, and it's unfortunate. Like, I do have to say this. The other day, since I've been evacuated a couple of days ago, because I don't have all my stuff with me. I only took one little bag, and I took my music. And I have two. This is the same sweatsuit I've had for 10 days. I have two of them, and that's it.
Right.
But the most important thing was taking my music and my drives. But the thing, and I'm going back to that because uh, this person hacked my Facebook account that has well over, almost close to 2 million on my Facebook, and they hacked into it and took a screenshot and then said, I'm fine, but I lost everything. I want you to donate money to me. So people started calling me and
Wow.
texting me and sending me messages and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you lost everything." And I said, "What are you talking about?" Then my brother called and I'm like, "I didn't say that." He goes, "Look." So he showed me the screenshot. I said, "No." So someone hacked into my Facebook now, taking advantage of people. Again, you never know. This person, like, just people are doing this now, taking advantage of people when they're out and about. I can't get to my home, I can't get to my computer, and they hacked into my Facebook account and took over and asking people for money. So on my behalf, which I still haven't gotten into the account yet. We're still trying to report it and do what we can with the team because I
Right.
can't do it. And that's important about teamwork and being with the team. And people do take advantage of you. And again, it's hard to trust, but we always get hurt some kind of way. Sometimes you get hurt and sometimes things don't work out, but you keep moving forward, you push forward.
Yeah, you push forward. I love it. So you've come from obviously what your parents and what you learned from them and watching what they were doing with music in the house and then creating this phenomenal career. I mean, if you look at the people, it's the people you've surrounded yourself with, let alone the ones you've gotten to work with. And now, for the audience that you made a transition to a different style. Music is music because it all has a rhythm, right? It all has a vibration that's very healing. But talk a little bit about where you're going and really why you made the change. That question actually came up too, which you addressed sort of last time, but I think the person missed part of it.
It's never too late to do and to try and to continue. My dad is 89 years old and he wants to do another record. And he's going to do another record. He
Yeah.
said he's on retirement and he's been retiring for almost 2 years now. We said you can retire for the rest of your life. You're not quitting. You're good. You're just going to retire and you can keep saying that. He
Mm,
still has goals. My mom still has goals. She's 87.
mm,
They still have goals. And so it's never too late to do something. And it's people get afraid of like trying. You fail when you don't try.
mm,
The failure is not trying and then it didn't work. That's failing forward. And
mhm.
failing forward is being successful because you at least tried. And that's a good thing. Don't be afraid and put yourself in a box where you're afraid to live life and try things. And maybe I might mess up and this might not work out. Nothing's going to be perfect anyway, but have fun doing it. I know I do.
I love it. I love it. It's so great because you're so honest. I mean, that's a lot of the comments have been, thank you so much. You talk about you're in the tracksuit, you had to evacuate, you grabbed your music, which to me is beautiful. You grabbed your music. Um, and the comments are like, just thank you for being so honest. Because sometimes people in adversity, part of the fear is I failed. I failed and I don't want to show anybody that. And there's nothing wrong with it, as you said. That's
Nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
No, I've learned so much by failing forward.
yeah,
I've
fail.
learned a lot. And that's the part. You make mistakes, you do things, and it's like, how are you going to learn if you don't at least try? And if this didn't work, maybe we need to do it a different way. And that sometimes I'm doing something and then it lends me to do something completely different that I never thought of just
Right.
because I was here thinking that this was the road, but that was just a little detour to get me to where I needed to be and to do. And it's just amazing. There's so many things that we can learn and do and be. And you see, like my dog,
I
Emma,
love it. I love it.
what
I
are you
love it.
doing?
And your dog's name is?
Emma.
Emma. Emma's been a star of the show. People have been watching her. There's been comments too. I love it.
Yes, they know Emma. Emma E.
Emma
Yeah.
E. Oh, that's just so where are you going next? After everything settles down, what's next for you?
Well, right now, and again, and to answer you in changing direction with music, doing the new salsa record. This new salsa record is, I think, one of the best, and I keep trying to do better. So this is something I've never done before, and a lot of hard work, and took almost 2 years to complete, but 5 years in conception. So it's again, some things take time. I'm not the person to say, "Oh my God, patience." Yes, I don't like it, but I know that it's necessary, and sometimes things take time. But we got it done. And so anyway, with this salsa record, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that I love the music. We just recently played on Jimmy Kimmel last Tuesday, the night of the fire, which
Wow.
it didn't air here in Los Angeles because it was all about the news. It
Right.
did air in different places, but we had a first time actually playing one of our was
No
first time,
worries.
yeah, first time playing this actually live, the salsa music. We've never played it live on television before. So it's been pretty awesome. And we don't know what's next. We have plans and different things and what we want to do. Next week will be the first two shows of the year. We're going to Arizona. I have two different shows in Arizona, and I have the E Train record, so that this is a new album as well, the E Train record. So I'm just going to keep pushing and trying to enjoy life. Try to enjoy life.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Thank you, for spending your time with us. And you're so gracious. And you were,
Thank you.
when you were live and after the Grammys and after, the next couple of months, Barnes and Noble's already like, please have her come back live. I mean, that's already, we've already had that call. So I'll talk to your team.
Oh,
Um,
and actually, I wanted to mention as well when I heard you say that some people bought the books. I
yes.
mean, there's a couple of ways we can do that if it's going to be a while. If not, if you have your book, we can absolutely go through Barnes and Noble, and my team can pick up your books and bring them to me, and I'll sign them and bring them back. I'll put your name on it and sign it to you directly. So that's not a problem either.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I really appreciate these. You're so awesome. You're just, it is
Thank you.
go with the flow, make it happen. And you are so about
Yeah.
it's fans are just, it's just part of who we are, right? It's
Yeah.
another part of,
Yes.
and you make that. I think that's really an important piece. So before we let you go, being living in LA and being that it went through, is there anything that before we go, or at least we send you away? We're not going to go, fans. By the way, everybody stay on. You'd like to say to the people of LA who've gone through what they've just gone through?
No, we're praying for everyone. It's been really emotional even for us. It's overwhelming, and like I cried many times today again. Just it's just been hard. It's hard emotionally, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone and the first responders and all the people that are fighting these fires. It's they're exhausted. I love that the community has been coming together to help each other, and that's so important. Um, it's just that we're here for you, and whatever we need to do to make things happen. Now they're popping up with some live performances that are coming up here in Los Angeles.
Good.
That you'll see that they're putting together big shows for fundraisers to raise money for those who lost everything. So um, I mean, some of the people that have gone through everything, I'm not sure that they're watching this, but the people who are watching this, when you get a chance, just go help, go donate, go volunteer. It means a lot.
Yeah. I think that's really an important piece. And I think as we do this together, I think that volunteering together makes just such a difference every single day.
Yeah.
Um, and just, I really appreciate your time with us. I appreciate, that you just always you show up. you just
Thank you.
you always show up, and it's always you're so easy to just spend time with. And Barnes and Noble really said, please, if so, I'll talk to your team. They would love to have us back there, especially, just be there for those people who wanted to be there,
Yeah.
and truly make that happen. Especially
Amen.
maybe do a special invite for first responders to just give
Yes,
them a
for
night to
sure.
be.
Yeah,
So
and we'll give away the books. We'll just give it to them, and we'll
yeah,
give them the CDs or whatever, just whatever we can do.
no, that'd
Make
be great. That'd
put a
be great.
smile on their faces.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
this is just awesome. So Sheila, thank you so much for myself and
Thank
the
you.
Mo Rock and the Los Angeles Tribune. Thank you for
Thank you.
another wonderful evening, and we'll talk to your team soon about that because we set that
All
up.
right.
Good luck to you with everything going on. We know
Thank you.
I don't know if the Grammys are still, if they're moving them. I don't know. I haven't heard.
They're supposed to be going on. They're going to
Okay.
go move forward with everyone's canceling all the other events
Yep.
during the week, but the Grammys are happening. They're going to
Okay.
move forward, and they're going to also make it as a lifting up and supporting the people fundraiser type situation as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you, and
Thank
we'll
you.
pray
Thank
for
you.
you that night, right? If nothing
Thank
else,
you.
you'll be in a wonderful environment with people for
Yeah.
healing, and let the music heal the soul.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. God
Thank
bless you.
you.
I saw people from all over the world responding, so thank you very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you're wonderful. All right, thank you so
All
much,
right.
Jeff. We're gonna go to commercial. Sheila was just she's such a it's so giving. She's giving of her time, giving of just that ability to say I'm here, and to be honest too, to be able to say same tracksuit, right? That I've been wearing for weeks. I've been evacuated. I'm at my parents' house, and what her parents' music did for her, and how music changes the soul, and that makes a difference every single time. So in just a couple minutes, I'm going to bring up a young gentleman, as I say, but he's amazing. What he's created with music has been part of his life, and the music he brings to all of us. But we're going to go ahead and go to commercial here. So Jeff, take us to commercial.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
I'm going to put us in this. It's always amazing that she's awesome. She's always been, every time we had her live, it's always been about the fans. There's no air. She tells you just how it is. You got to think of who she's played with. She was talking about, right, Lionel Richie asking her to sing that song back, and Tina Turner was on stage with, and we know Prince for a long time, and her own career. I remember all the music. It's just great that we have these people that are just real. They're about themselves. They tell us how it is. We've got a worldwide audience watching us. And audience, I kept mentioning names, right? And they're like, who are you talking? So anyways, I'd like to introduce, right, just so you know who they are. And they're not just in the background. These are leaders of everything we're creating at the Los Angeles Tribune. First, I want to introduce everybody to Karen Hall. Give Karen a thunderous round of applause. Put a one on there. She's one of our lead trainers. She's got her own amazing business. She runs the Women's Journal. She runs part of the speakers. I could just go on and on and on with all of our things. Karen, tell me a little bit of what you thought about what Sheila just said.
Oh, Michael, you just hit the nail on the head when you said, about her authenticity and about how, she's so real. And that's what we gravitate toward. And when she talked about performing and how she said that it's just an extension of performing in her backyard or in her living room, and about how that storytelling and how she engages with her audience, because she really cares about her audience, and she wants to connect. She says, sing to that one person. And that's what we do as podcasters. I have a picture in front of my camera when I'm doing my podcast, and I talk to that one person right there. And the same thing when we write, our articles, and when we speak, at these events, when we're speaking to that one person that needs us, and through stories and through sharing those meaningful, vulnerable stories, we connect emotionally with our audience. And so Sheila E is amazing at that. And thank you so much for elevating her so that we could all have the opportunity to connect with her as well, Michael.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and it's so right. And then beaming in from across the world, as we say, as far away as you can get, unless you're in Antarctica, Mr. Jeff Ross. Give him a thunderous round of applause all the way from Tasmania. So, and you heard me saying, Jeff, we're about to, and he's not only just part of our team, but he brings that that Tasmanian way, right? It's all good. We're going to get through it. It's adversity. I mean, he's from a country that literally almost burned down a couple of years ago. The whole country was on fire at one point. And he's had his own adversities, but he still brings that sense of, we're going to move this forward. We're going to make it happen. He's so brilliant when it comes to AI and technology and where it's going. And he's just such a part of our team. So, Jeff, what do you think? Just a little bit about what Sheila brought to the table.
It's just absolutely amazed how humble she is. And the big thing that really jumped out for me is how she just made everybody feel known, seen, and heard, like through her, sharing her personal story and sharing her, the stuff about her parents and, just the little stuff that to help us to get to know her.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when we feel seen, when we feel heard, when we feel known, and that's reciprocated, that's where true light and joy and peace and everything can really happen in that environment. And I really love how Sheila E just exudes that.
Yeah, it was just, for me, it's always so easy in a way. Sometimes I'm not sure what the next question is, because it's not that it's easy, but it's like, I'm just at home with family. And, for her just to be there with us and just spend her time with us was amazing. So, all right, you two, you're going to send each other away, and we'll bring you back in a little bit. We've got a great show, everybody. And the great thing about that is we've got not only this next gentleman that I'm going to bring up, this is really awesome, but we have a panel that's really going to talk about the messaging and storytelling and podcasting and where it's going to go. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in LA and really how to support that. We're going to have that piece of really from a TEDx stage, how is media working right now and how does this all work? And it's going to be education and training. And so just settle back, sit back, relax. We're just going to be here like another hour and 20 minutes together. But the great thing about the Tribune is it's always about education. And one thing, it's about giving back. So Jeff, if you could pop that slide up, not Trevor yet, Trevor in a minute. There we go. If you could pop, he was too, see Trevor, there we go. So the Los Angeles Tribune, again, during these trying times, we encourage, the word, write this down, is encourage you to support our partners at the Los Angeles Mission as they continue their incredible work helping those in need. Very simple. Go to losangelesmission.org or take your camera right now. If you're on your phone, that's a little harder to do. Point it at that QRS code. And if one of my team can type in losangelesmission.org, that would be fantastic. And again, whatever you can give, your time is also important. The amazing thing, Jeff, you can pull the slide down. The amazing thing is Los Angeles said they've had so many donations that now what they need is help getting people who can help them sort everything. Give that a round of applause for all of you who have helped. And from us at the Los Angeles Tribune, we're there every day. But remember, this broadcast is going over to 50 countries. So we all know all of you can help in your own way. Prayers, thought, just take a moment because there's a lot going on around the world. There's a lot of adversity around the world. There's also a lot of greatness. And let's stay towards that while we're dealing with the journey and how we get there. So this next gentleman I'm going to bring up, Jeff, you can pop him up, is, it's amazing. So Trevor, without any introductions, and I'm going to let you do a little bit of your own introduction, but so here I am flying on an airplane, right? And this is everybody, how you meet somebody, and normally I'm quite an introvert and I pop the headphones on and I start the show going and all that fun stuff. But here I am on an airplane, and this gentleman is across from me, parking a guitar in a first-class seat, puts the seatbelt on just like it's a child. I mean, I'm like, this is awesome. Okay, no, I don't want to ask because everybody must ask. Yes, I got to ask. So literally, I let most of the flight go by, and I finally ask about the guitar. Who are you? This is who I am. You got to tell me about the guitar. So without any further ado, the owner of Emerald City Guitars, let's give a thunderous round of applause. Put a 1 in the comments. By the way, Trevor, they are commenting and they can ask questions. Somebody already put, hi, sir, Trevor. Let's give it up for Mr. Trevor Boone. Put a 1 in the chat, everybody. Give him a big round of applause.
Oh,
So,
thanks, man.
Trevor, why don't you do me 2 things? Tell us, you're going to tell us a little bit about your journey and what you do and why you're here. But before you do that, tell them about the guitar journey.
That specific one, or the journey?
That one, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that one I was bringing a really rare 1958 Gibson Flying V to Jason Momoa, big movie star, who we were going to present it to Metallica, who was doing a big fundraiser. So it was kind of a 2-for-1 kind of deal. I got to go bring it to Jason, who's a longtime buddy and guitar geek. And then we surprised Metallica during their fundraiser so they could check out this guitar, and we shot some video and stuff with it. But yeah, that was a fun one.
I love it. And it was the kind of thing, I'll tell you, if you want a conversation starter, anybody, bring your guitar and put it in a first class seat.
I don't suggest that.
It was great. The way you did it too. I should say the way you buckled it in. But, it was great meeting you because we didn't know each other before that. Yeah. And it was because of that way of, communicating and really doing something different. And not only that, by the way, and Trevor I brought my grandson down to Emerald City Guitars because my grandson wants to play guitar, and we started to have the conversation. Trevor treated him like he was a rock star, showed him everything, and even showed him his first chords. But tell us a little bit about the foundations of where Emerald City started and where you are now.
Then they're humble beginnings. I was raised by an amazing mother and father. My mom was a hairdresser, if you can't tell. She was cutting hair in the living room, listening to Madonna. And my dad was a rock and roll guy. He played in bands, and he worked in some of the old Seattle shops, and made a big run, had an MTV music video. They made no money, but he kind of did the thing for a while. And he actually got sober, like 35 years ago or so, and said, what do I want to do? I'm a music lover. And I've always wanted to do a cool kind of funky guitar shop. So he opened up a small shop down in Pioneer Square, which is kind of like the historic, cool brick building area. And why I bring up a little bit of that history is like this shop from day one had kind of this almost like service to it. My dad still does, he's retired now. He comes down on Saturdays for like meetings for recovering addicts and alcoholics who are old musicians and stuff. It's so cool. And I don't know, that kind of vibe has just really, really taken over the whole shop. We have our own culture, and it's a lot of kind of like finding guitars for people from like farm to table. So finding, instruments all around the world in old barns, original owners, and the storytelling. And, none of my guys are on commission, so it's not like weird. It's like we're here for the music, for the people. And I was 7 when it opened, and it was like a small little shop, like I said, and it was kind of perfect. He was in this old school, guitar era where I was starting to see the internet come out and the attention to detail. So I really was there for all that, which just elevated us and launched us into, the top vintage guitar store in the world as far as volume and what we're, the caliber of instruments we're getting. It's been an amazing journey, man. I attribute that to, my family, my staff, and, you caught me on one of the fun days where a lot of my work is traveling, obviously delivering guitars and picking up guitars, and they're not all, big rock stars and movie stars. I remember being the young kid getting his first guitar and stuff. And I love that. I honor it. And I feel like if you water that garden, it kind of has turned into like what we are now. But man, it's an amazing journey. Yeah.
It's a great thing too, because in a way, what Sheila talked about, which is really from her parents, right? And what she learned, and because they were musical, and what her dad's, with her dad and his music, and really how it brought her to where she is. And you sort of had that same journey in many ways.
Yeah. Raised by wolves. Totally. I mean, my whole life was like, I just put my daughter to bed, and I'm like, there's guitars all over here, and she's 18 months old, so she can't play them, but I grew up with them in the room, and music around, and that really shaped who I am, and it's important, it takes a village, friends and family, and really it's like, to this day, I still rely on those things.
Yeah. And the important part about that is because there is on this journey you're on, as we move towards, there's always the things that come in the way at the moment, or something stops us, or with our life, how do we keep moving forward? And Sheila talked about, failing forward. Always, the more we fail, the more we learn, and the more we learn, the more we move forward, and we just keep going forward. And music has a rhythm. Music has a vibration.
Yeah.
And music is healing. And that's why we have the concerts we do and the things we do. But can you talk about a situation or some just time in your life? You don't have to be that specific. Just a time you just weren't sure about moving forward or how to move forward, and what broke you through.
Yeah. I mean, so many times, like in operating a small business. But for a big example is kind of 2020, when things shut down and the city shut down. I was going, how are we going to, make ends meet? How are we going to sell guitars? People aren't coming to the shop. We can't go and get guitars, and I immediately pivoted into, okay, what is this about? What am I about? Obviously, we got to put money in the till and pay these guys. But like, I really went back onto like our mission kind of. And that's when I brought my videographer. Instead of doing kind of daily demos of guitars, I said, let's just go chase some stories of instruments and show the background of kind of what we do and what we care about it. And that changed our lives kind of. I mean, we always did kind of YouTube, but people got to see the inner workings of like where our hearts are at and what we're about. And it wasn't really chasing a dollar necessarily. It was like that, who knows if that's going to come. Little did we know, people got really interested about guitars in 2020 and kind of re-inspired, and it was all great. But it took a while. And those first few months, man, I just relied on like what makes me happy about this. I'm a musician. I played in bands forever, and I'm looking at numbers and parts and what is this screw original and what's this worth all the time. Sometimes you kind of forget that, and right. I took a second, I meditated, and I said, man, what's this about? Let me chase it. Let me do some storytelling and use our resources for it. And it changed our life, really, man.
And the great thing about this is you actually you did your show and did that, and you have a podcast that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, we have a podcast. We have like I'm just content's going this way, and that's something that's just a proved concept. Even in a retail spot, I try to tell other old shops that I love, because I want guitar shops around. I'm like, get on your Instagram, get on your YouTube, and that was just another thing to scratch. We've been talking about it for a long time, and I was really inspired by talking to you too about that, just kind of giving me another push towards that. But yeah, we have a podcast coming out. My shop has a bunch of like kind of next generation, there's a changing of the guard happening right now with the old school oracles of the vintage market. And I brought in like the best of the best guys that are in their 20s to mid 30s. And so we're kind of like doing a podcast talking about what it's like is like the last real guitar shop, and some cool technical stuff. But it's a broad deal, it's fun. It's like an old barbershop, if you want to hear about a town, you pop into the barbershop and ask what's going on. And it's kind of like that. I love,
it had a great vibe too, because not only the guitars I saw there in the Beatles collection, I won't talk about that, but it was interesting because you can go room to room and it had a different feel. It had a different vibe to it. And I think that's really interesting. That's probably just the way the shop grew up. But you literally, when you went from the guitar room to the bass room to the room where the stage was, you could feel the vibration of the music.
Absolutely. I mean, that was like I'm in Los Angeles every couple of weeks and have been going there for 20 years solo by myself, working out of hotels and parking lots and stuff. And I was going, how can I recreate that in Los Angeles? I'd have to move there permanently. And we started really organic down there with like almost like a tasting menu of what we have in Seattle, because that's blood, sweat, and tears of like 30 years of, like I said, family, business, just and everything that involves. And you can't really fake that, and you can't just snap your fingers and recreate it. And we have, it's really, really special to me and paramount in just like our whole operations and vibe. In our California presence, it's like, like a little tasting menu kind of thing, an appetizer to what we do. But our presence is so big there. It's like my second home, obviously. And luckily it's not a short trip. So we get a lot of people to come back to the mothership and check it out, but
right. That's right. And that's, that's a great thing because, and you are in LA a lot. So you are very much part of, who is in LA and what's going on in LA and really the music scene in LA.
Absolutely. It's literally like my other cul-de-sac. I've spent more time there than anywhere else besides Pioneer Square, Seattle,
Yeah.
And, I know you guys have talked on it. It's just like, it's such horrific stuff that's going on right now. And we've been just, donating to places that we find important, but also I've been just reaching out to ground level musicians I know who are going on shopping runs to Target and put up a Venmo, and do it. And I can there. Everybody needs a hand right now. And it breaks my heart.
Yeah. It's great that you're doing that. And it is really about, it's the commitment of, it's time and money. So what can I give? And for those of you, because the show does go out to so many countries, we will put up the Los Angeles Mission slide again. From the Los Angeles Tribune, we have many partners down there with the Mission and the Tribune and the Dream Center. We go on and on and on. But it's just great that you're really, because you are part of it. You are part of the scene. You are part of what happens. A lot of your guitars get played at a lot of these, music events.
Yeah, for such a happening city, there's so much. It's so big. There's an ecosystem down there in a fragile fabric, and it's easy. It's having relationships down there and stuff. It's like you really realize how everybody's just connected, and it's been amazing to see like small town vibes coming out all of a sudden out of Los Angeles and people looking out for each other, because you get kind of blocked by that. It's Los Angeles, it's like you go down there, it's big city lights and high rises, but there's so much heart down there and amazing people. It's why I am there every couple, if I didn't like going down there and dealing with the people, it's not worth my time. I'd rather be home, but it's an amazing place. And
yeah. Everybody, you're going to hear a lot more from Trevor, because not only his podcast show, but music really does, it soothes the soul. It changes everything about us. It vibrates. We used to, at a lot of our big personal development events, we'd have thousands of people sing one song because that vibration's the way to end it. But it also begins anew. And I think that's always a big piece. It's been great having you on. I'm so tempted just to say, your daughter's sleeping though. Can you grab a guitar and play one lick for us? And you never do that on these. Here he goes. See, when you ask a musician to do something like this, they're like, absolutely, I can.
I always have it right next to him, man.
Oh, and he's left-handed. Good. I love it. I love it. I've been tempted the whole time to say grab a guitar.
They're all over here.
So one last thing I'll let you before you go, and this is a question we always ask musicians. What's one of your favorite licks of all time, or your favorite intros to a song?
It's so funny. It's I always go back to the ones that I first learned, that are kind of, I remember learning my dad teaching me Susie Q, and just, there's something nostalgic about that. It's like, when your favorite music is the ones you listen to in high school, when you're first going on dates and stuff. It's kind of like that with guitar, the first licks you learn. There's a reason why you picked up the guitar, and it's because of those licks.
That's right. Because you're dating yourself, because Susie Q, a lot of the song is not going to have any.
That's my old man.
Because the other one was, right, we all played Smoke on the Water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I gotta polish up on one of the
That's good. No, it's true. And the
for
other
me,
one
was a lot of Nirvana.
Yes. Go ahead.
Black Sabbath, Weezer. A lot of these guys who are my great clients now, like John Mayer and Chris Stapleton and Keith Urban. It's like I got to tell those guys, like, hey, I picked up the guitar. You're the first song I learned, and they still get a kick out of it. Every once in a while I'll send John like a video of some kid coming in to buy his first guitar, playing a John Mayer song, and he's like, man, that's awesome. It's cool, and that still resonates.
Yeah, and I love it, because you're in this guitar world of people making a difference and changing the planet, and every day it does that over and over. And I can't wait to see your podcast, and I want you to have those people on your podcast, because people want to see who they really are. Where's that real side? And I just thought, my gosh, you just go and you play guitar with them. It'd be great.
Oh man, I always tell people I collect people, you know, and not in a freaky way. Guitars are great. I have a million of them, but I chase, like, there's every crazy person was a musician at one point or tried the music thing, you know, and they've got stories for days, and some of them made it big and they're still crazy, you know, in a great way. It's an amazing community. And we need them around for a reason, you know.
We do.
Yeah.
You know, thank you so much. You know, the great thing about
caring so much, Michael. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, this has been, you know, we met on a plane. There's like a story here. And it was all because of a guitar and a seat. But it's been great to just have you on. We'll be spending much more time together. I think, you know, I'm suddenly, when you're on with the guitar, I'm thinking we should do like a whole show on music. So right away, I'll be talking to the group about that. You know,
awesome,
Sheila E on the drums, you on guitar. We could have a lot of fun with this. You'll bring
get the band back together.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, any last words before we let you go?
Oh man, well, I just think and I appreciate you guys so much directing people to the mission for donations. I think that's so important. You know, having Sheila E and these important figureheads in this world, it means so much. Like, you know, ground level to the big artists and stuff, we're paying attention, and what you guys are doing is awesome. So thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Trevor Boone, the owner of Emerald City Guitars. If you're ever in Seattle, first of all, you got to get to Seattle. So get to Seattle. You've got to go there, because whether you're a musician or not, the environment is just rich in vibration and rich in music. And everybody around the world, you know, if nothing else, go to their website, check out what they do. It's an amazing journey. And Trevor, we'll be looking forward to that podcast.
Thank you, man. And also for the Los Angeles folks, on our social media, my personal one or the shop, we always send a smoke signal out when, you know, the bat signal when we're in Los Angeles. We'd love to meet up with people. So, and just hang out. So please reach out if you want to get together.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, give him a thunderous round of applause. You can put
Thank
one
you, man.
Trevor, you're the best.
Thank you, guys.
Play us out. We'll send you away in a minute, but go ahead, play us out. Trevor Boone. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. It doesn't get any better, right? It's just, all right. We're about to go to commercial. You know, it is really, music just soothes the soul. Trevor is a true heart. You know, go to Emerald City Guitars. You got to check out what they do on the web. But it's really that giving back piece. Everything he does, he talks about that. He talks about giving back and a young family, where he came from, and adversity, and how he got to where he is, and how his dad really shifted gears and really took music to another level. And the people he works with is all the major talent around the world, but they're just friends. They're guitarists, they're musicians, they're making a difference. And that's all that counts. So that was just amazing. So we're going to go to commercial. And next up, we're going to have Karen Hall. You saw her already. She's really going to take you down a journey and create more healing. And after we go to commercial, we're going to do the slide one more time. We'll have Karen read it, and then it's all Karen. And then we'll be moving to our next amazing piece. Here we go.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Oh gosh, this was just so amazing to get to have Trevor Boone and Sheila E and to get to hear all of these wonderful stories. You know, that's what we're all about, giving a voice to the voiceless. I'm Karen Hall, and as Michael said, I'm an executive producer. I'm the executive director of the Women's Journal and the Spanish Journal, and a trainer and a host and a speaker. And I love the mission of the Los Angeles Tribune. And one of the things that we are continuing to carry on at this moment of trauma and suffering with Los Angeles is serving. And Michael Silvers is all about service, and to now be able to share this with the Los Angeles mission, which is the mission of Los Angeles Tribune, to serve those in need. I think it's important to note that there are over 75,000 people who are homeless in the Los Angeles area, and probably more if we went further out with the suburbs. And so the goal of the mission is to help change lives. And it exists to help people, to help them overcome addictions and to be transformed by God, to become physically and spiritually healthy. What a beautiful, beautiful mission statement for the mission. And so I encourage all of you to donate there and to serve there, and to lift those who are suffering, whose hands hang down low. Because when you're in that situation, it means so much to have someone offer support to you. And so I'll just read you the statement. During these trying times, we encourage you to support our partners at the Los Angeles Mission as they continue their incredible work helping those in need. Visit losangelesmission.org to make a difference today. And we encourage you to donate, to serve however you're able, and to offer prayers as well. We all need prayers, and especially at this time of suffering. So thank you for sharing that information with us, Jeff. As I have dealt with my own trauma in my life, and as I have helped others deal with trauma in their life, I've learned some interesting things. And Gabor Mate says it so well. He said, trauma is not what happens to us, it's what happens inside of us. And you can have two people that go through the exact same situation, that interpret the situation differently, that cope with the situation differently. And the other interesting thing about trauma that Gabor Mate also says is that trauma is when your stress exceeds your resources. And so I might have a very large support system, and I may have developed a lot of tools. Maybe I've had coaching, and maybe I've learned some ways to deal with stress. I might have a lot of resources. And so that might make it a different experience for me when I go through trauma versus someone else who maybe has unresolved trauma, and then they deal with something like the fires in LA, and it might be triggering, and they might not have a support system to go to. And so each person deals with it differently based on their own experience and their own resources. And then there's readiness. At certain points in time when the trauma is acute, we need someone to validate our pain. We need comfort. We need to be able to talk about it. And then we may have moved through that, and now we're ready to move on. We want stories of hope. We want stories of resilience. We want to even help someone else who, is going through something. A lot of times I hear people say, well, just stop thinking about yourself, start thinking of someone else. And that's a very true principle. And I find that principle to be a very powerful principle for me, that when I am hurting, if I can think of someone else, and sometimes I'm in such a difficult situation. I've had health problems. I've had, mental health issues. And sometimes I think, how can I do anything for anybody else when I can barely make it through today? But then I think I can pray for someone. I can send loving thoughts to someone. I could text someone, even if it's just an emoji. I can push the buttons for 2 seconds on my phone and send a message to uplift someone else. And when I can just do one thing like that, and I feel so much better because I did think of someone else. But if you can't do that, then take care of you and do what you can to help yourself heal. But I want you to know that there is help out there. And that's the beautiful thing about the Los Angeles Mission, that there are people that want to help. There are people within the Los Angeles Tribune community that want to help. And so reach out, connect with us here. And I just want you to know there is help available. There's divine help available. there is mortal help available, and there's help in so many different ways. And so you just need to make a phone call and let someone know. So I encourage you to do that. And I also encourage you to validate yourself. Sometimes when I have been in trauma and someone says something well-meaning, they might say something like, well, that's just stuff, it's just stuff that you lost. I'm like, but I love my pictures. And we went through a massive flood and I lost so many pictures, and I was so sad because that brought back so many memories and it brought back so much joy. And then I thought, it is true that it is just stuff. And it is true that, I'm still alive and I didn't, we've had fires. We've lived through the largest fire in the United States with the Rodeo Chetaskai fire. And we've had fire many times lapping at our doorstep, just a mile away from our home. And it was very scary. And it's not the same as being in LA. And I don't want to minimize anyone's trauma that they're going through. But it is, I do understand fear, and I have experienced that to a certain extent. And I've also experienced loss. And when we do go through loss, it's important to validate that loss, because even when we lose things, we grieve that loss too. And so if someone else says a comment like that, and maybe it hurts when somebody says something, we can validate our own loss and we can say, yes, that's true, but it meant a lot to me. And I do miss that. And we can work through that grieving process as well. And if we are the one that's offering a comment, we can try to think of how that person is feeling and how could you best support that person in that moment. Sometimes you can just ask, how could I best support you when you're hurting? I remember one time a friend of mine lost a child to leukemia, and she was just devastated by this loss. And I remember when I saw her, I thought, I don't know what to say. I hadn't experienced death yet in my own personal life, except a grandfather, but I hadn't experienced that kind of a loss. And I struggled. I thought, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And I thought, I'm just going to give her a hug. And I gave her a hug and I just held her. And I didn't know if it meant anything. I didn't know if it was helpful. And she sent me a message and she said, so many people say things and they don't know what to say, and they tell me they don't know what to say, and you didn't say anything. She said, but that hug meant so much. And she taught me such a valuable lesson, that those hugs can mean so much. Just reaching out with a phone call, just letting someone know you care can mean so much. And so when you do know that someone's suffering, to just say, how are you doing? And be a listening ear. Sometimes it's just so nice to have someone to talk to someone who cares. And we can do that for each other. When, the message is we are going to rebuild, and we will. And we are going to be united, and we will. And we've seen this before with 9/11. We've seen it with the World Trade Center. We've seen it in so many different ways. We do come together and we see the best in people. And then that is one of the greatest blessings of traumatic experiences are you often see people that reach out and show love and do have a unified effort. And so I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to serve. We stand in solidarity with those who are suffering in Los Angeles, and we want to do everything that we can. And thank you for joining with us tonight as we honor those who are serving, our first responders, and all those who are lifting and building and making a difference. Thank you to Mo Rock for his vision and his mission for the Los Angeles Tribune to have positive messages, to uplift the world, and not just in word, but in action. Mo is a leader who doesn't just say the words. It doesn't just come out in print. He takes the action because he really does love you. His Instagram is Mo Rock Loves You, and he really does. And he has so much empathy. And I am so grateful to be a part of the Los Angeles Tribune. Michael Silvers loves to serve. He serves his family every day, his grandchildren, the elderly. He loves to serve people. And for him to be able to carry on that as well with the Los Angeles Tribune is beautiful. Mary Glorfield, the same way. She is someone who works at the Homeless Empowerment Program in Florida. And in fact, we're featuring a story about the Homeless Empowerment Project in the upcoming issue of the Women's Journal, which will be launching soon. And so I encourage you to read that because they are changing lives in miraculous ways, just like the Los Angeles mission. So there are wonderful things going on. I am so grateful to be a part of it. I am so grateful for all of you who are with us tonight. And I'm grateful for the community that we have here at the Los Angeles Tribune. You know, when Trevor said, you know, that there's heart, how did he say it? He said, there's a small town vibe in LA with so much heart. That is so true. I love the heart. There's so much goodness in LA. So many amazing people who care so much. And I am so blessed to be a part of that. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for your support for those who are hurting. Thank you for everyone who is serving and for everyone who is praying. Thank you for being with us. And we're going to go to commercial now. Thank you, Jeff.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
You know, we just had a message from a community member from Venezuela just sending the best. We've had those from the Philippines sending their best as we continue to really move forward. Right? That's what we do. That is just how we do this. And Karen, that was just beautiful. And it was just one of those very heartfelt, and everybody, you know, the comments coming in and the messaging and the you know, we can do this, and really having us all work together, I think makes a difference every single day. So we're about to have amazing podcasters because stories are important, and they're all going to come on in a couple minutes. But you know, really from the perspective of those in other countries, we've all gone through something, and we continue to move forward. And I think we just take a moment to pause and breathe. So I'd like to throw the slide up for a second, Jeff. I always and I think it's about that giving part. So again, during these trying times, the Los Angeles Tribune, our CEO, Mr. Mo Rock, we encourage you to support partners of the Los Angeles Mission as they continue their incredible work helping those in need. So losangelesmission.org to make a difference every single day. And it's really about, you can hit the QR code, and my team will type in also at the bottom. But it makes a difference every single day. Okay, Jeff, thank you. And you know, Jeff, watching it from where you are in way down in the south, as we say in Tasmania, what has the show meant to you so far?
Community. It really has. Like it's community. It's one heart, one mind, one community, and that is family, is it not?
Yeah. I think that community piece makes the whole difference. I think that's the reason we're here. I think we all, right? It's about community, because somebody said, well, when you postpone, just postpone the show. We didn't cancel. We're going to be moving it and having it again. You know, and Sheila E's like, I'll be there anytime you need or want. It was just we wanted to make sure we didn't take any, and Karen, thank you for this, any of the hotel rooms that were necessary. We wanted to make sure that we didn't take any of the space that was necessary, and let the first responders do what they need to do while we go through this. And then things will start again. The Grammys are coming, and the Oscars are coming, and the LA way, right? That continues and moves forward. And it's just great with everybody on here. So, you know, I want to thank everybody. You know, it's been great. And Trevor, okay? Trevor was amazing, because Trevor is all about healing, and his journey he didn't even go deeply into his journey with his father and what it was about, but the music heals those around it, and he's worldwide. And I love the way he drops. Yeah, I text John Mayer, and I text this. He knows all the guitarists because they've all come to his shop and they buy these guitars, but it's a family and a community. And it's truly about those musicians are going to get together, as Sheila said, and they're going to create some more healing. They're going to really work it within Los Angeles and put on those shows and keep things moving. And worldwide, we know there's a lot of healing necessary. You've heard that term over and over, but it's okay. We're doing this as one team and one family. We know we're broadcasting around the world, and we want to thank everybody for being on. Before we move to the next section, I did want to say I'm really excited by next Thursday. So next Thursday, that's Los Angeles time, we're going to have Mr. Joseph McClendon and Malcolm Jamal Warner and many of us, and we're going to do a speaker summit. Because a speaking is about your story, is about how you get the word out, about how you make a difference. And we're inviting all of you to be there. And we'll put up the website because I don't have it right now. I'll have to grab it. We'll put it in the comments, but you can just come back to this channel. So Thursday, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have an amazing show 1 week from today with Mr. Joseph McClendon. Many of 6 million of you have seen him on stage with Tony Robbins. And right now he's doing a tour in Malaysia and London. He's going to Australia. And Mr. Malcolm Jamal Warner, which many of you will know. You'll know from Cosby. A lot of you know from his new show, The Resident, which is really funny. A lot of people, I just streamed that. I just watched them all. And they'll be here for the message. They'll be here really how to tell your story, how to dive into that part deeply. And we're just going to bring that to you to continue the education from the Los Angeles Tribune and everything that we do. And we're so excited because we have this education continuing. We have the Australian Marketing Summit coming up in February, right? That's going to just rock the house.
Very excited.
We have the Japan. We have latjapan.com. We have a show in Japanese with Ken Honda. Will be on the 21st of this month. We had last month Mr. Dan Kennedy. And so for those of you who speak Japanese, you can always get it translated, right? We have these shows going on, and we're worldwide presence. We're here as a family, one team, one family, making it happen. And every day, it just makes it better and better as we get together and do these things that are necessary. And you want to watch something on the fly, how this works? Because Karen has been not only our lead trainer, coach, executive producer, produce these, but she's one of the best hosts for panels I've ever seen. She probably knows where I'm going with this now. And so I'm going to, and she's hosted so many panels. Karen, I would like you to host the next panel. You ready for this?
Ready. You know it.
Karen is always ready, right? No matter what you say, she's just like, how can I serve? How can I be part of it? Because I was looking at the wonderful panel we're about to bring up, and I'm going to talk to Jeff about some things in the background. And Karen, I think the way you host things, and I think the way you bring what you just did with that message just brought the world to, right? Jeff's like, he knows what I'm talking about. And I want to continue that momentum for the moment of what you just brought. So without any further ado, not the hostess with the mostest. Remember that old God? People used to say that like creepy, but the host of the great podcasting panel. For those that were going to be live, these next three women were going to be live at Barnes and Noble, and they're here virtually. Jeff and I are going to go away, and let's give it up for Miss Karen Hall.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have some amazing podcasters that are going to be with us, and so we are going to be joined by Lauren Fields, and she is with the Women's Journal. She is also with the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network, and she is a trainer. And so, Lauren, welcome. We are so glad to have you with us.
Hi, Karen and team. Thank you so much for having me tonight. What an incredible event to host on this evening. I'm so glad we could all show up and be live, even though we aren't there in person. This has been so meaningful and so helpful for anyone who I know is going through, it's been a really heavy start to the year, and this event really sheds light on what we can do to better care for ourselves and others.
Absolutely. And Lauren is the host of Fields Well podcast, and so she is, and she just finished her psychology master's degree, and so this is so exciting because all three of these women are so aligned with this message of caring and empathy for all who are suffering. And so it's incredible that I have three of them all together on one panel. So this is awesome. But you know what? So many of the women who couldn't be with us tonight have that same heart. And I just love all of them, and the men too. We have amazing men with the Los Angeles Tribune, as we have already seen. Our next guest is Dr. Christina Castagnini, and she is also a psychologist, and she has a podcast called Behind the Bite. And welcome, Dr. Christina.
Thank you, Karen. I'm so happy to be here with everybody. This is, like I said, like Lauren said, we were going to be there in person, but so happy we can do this tonight. And it's been really inspiring so far. So really glad to be on this panel with all you amazing women. This is great. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Christina. And Skylar Sorkin is also with us, and she is right there in LA. She had to be evacuated, and she is the host of Regardless podcast. And Skylar, welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, and just for all of my Los Angeles family out there. I'm here for you. I'm in it with you, and we're going to get through this. So thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, and Skylar, I want to go back to Skylar sent an email out to her list, and I frankly loved her thoughts, and I wanted to give you an opportunity, Skylar, to share some of these thoughts, and then I'll go around and ask each one. But if you could tell us a little bit more about the message that you shared in your email, because it really touched my heart. It really resonated with me.
Oh, Karen, I so appreciate you. And the letter that Karen is referring to is my newsletter. So I send out a monthly newsletter to my community. And essentially, Regardless to me is so much more than a podcast and a platform. It is a mindset. And I think in the face of adversity, whether it is a personal challenge or setback or what we're facing right now in Los Angeles, the wildfires, with how hard and painful and devastating these moments can be, I truly believe that really the sandpaper to your soul experiences in life, I think, are what really make us. And we always have a choice when facing adversity. And so for me, I wanted to remind my community, hey, look, I see you. I'm with you. My dad grew up in Malibu in the Palisades. His childhood house unfortunately burned down, as well as lots of our family, friends, and family members' homes. And, I think this is an opportunity for LA to really rally behind one another. And for me, community and conversation is at the core to Regardless. And I wanted to remind my community that regardless of the devastation that we're facing right now, we do have an opportunity to look inward, to pause, to be there for our family members and move forward regardless. And I am honestly really happy to be here and to get my hands dirty and to really be the emotional resource and support system for Los Angeles, because, I don't have a CPG brand. I can't give out free product, but I can give out the mic. I can give out a hug. I can give out space for people to show up unapologetically where they're at, regardless of what state that might be. And I just really want to remind people that regardless of what shows up, we've got this.
Yes. And how beautiful that is, that no matter what you're going through, that we may not be able to give, product, we can give a hug, and we can give space. And thank you so much for that message, because the other thing that I heard you say that is so important is the value of being seen and heard. We all have a universal need to be seen and heard, but especially when we're in trauma, to have someone who sees us, that sees our trauma and gives us that space to be heard. Such a gift. Thank you so much, Skylar. Dr. Christina, I know that you've had adversity in your own life. Can you tell us your thoughts about what is going on with all the devastation in LA?
Well, it's interesting because, up here in Northern California, I was just recollecting, I was actually living in Southern California for about 10 years of my life. And I was actually in a fire in Malibu when I was down at Pepperdine. And obviously it was nowhere near as devastating. But I was just thinking back when I was down in the fire, there were no cell phones, there were no anything like that. And so just to see how different it is, all the media and all the social media and all the cell phone video cameras, and how different it is, like having it now with, all the ability for us to see the devastation. And, it just breaks my heart to see what's going on, because up here we had the Oakland fires and we had different things. And so, also I lost my childhood neighborhood in that fire. And so I feel for you, Skylar, with your father. And I do think that when there is that shock, and that I was just thinking, I was watching people getting diapers, and I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, what if you lost everything and you didn't even have like the basics, toothbrush, underwear, like diapers, water, like nothing, just thinking like, what do people need right now? They need, they're going through shock, first of all, just the shock of everything. And then also I was watching a lot of, again, the social media. People were in real time watching their homes burning.
Yeah.
Like how devastating that must be, just to imagine like everyone's different experiences. And I can't imagine what that's like. And so to your point, Karen, everyone wanting to be seen and, to get whatever they do need. And so there's so many people, and there's trauma on all different levels, whether it's not knowing if they have a home, maybe they don't have insurance, because I heard that's another whole thing. Some people do have insurance. I just think there's trauma on so many different levels that it's almost overwhelming to think about, like, where do we need to put our resources? Is it in the basic needs? Is it in, like, for me as a psychologist, I was thinking, do I want to go down there and help people debrief? Like, do I want to just say, here, I'm here, call me if you want to talk? So it's like, there's so much need. It's almost like, where do we want to put our resources, and what can we individually offer? So I know I just want to put it out there too. It's like, I almost want to just say, hey, if you need to debrief, if you need a crisis call, that's what I do for a living. So that's what I can offer. Right.
Right. And you make such a good point, because even if I'm not a psychologist, I can still reach out and be that listening ear to someone. And when I've been going through things, and people have been checking with me because they know that I'm in LA so much, and they're like, are you safe? Are you okay? And it means so much that people cared. And so thank you for caring, Dr. Christina, because that's beautiful. And that you've developed that empathy in large part because of the hard things that you have gone through. And so I appreciate so much how much you care about others. And Lauren, with your training in psychology and your own personal experiences, tell us some of your thoughts about what's going on.
Sure. So oftentimes the best way we can understand is to try and relate a situation someone else is going through based on what we've been through. And while I haven't had my home burned down, I have experienced trauma, and this is relatable. And I want to bring it up now because when I was 14 years old, I was in a horse accident, went into a coma at the hospital with a traumatic brain injury. Doctors had limiting beliefs about my future, may have to relearn how to speak, may have struggled with memory retention, may have difficulty walking. And 4 days later, I walked out of that hospital and there was ash falling from the sky because a fire had ripped through San Diego, and we were evacuated from our home. And I was so disoriented. I was so young. But as the days continued to move forward, and we put one foot in front of the other, and the sense of community surrounded us, you begin to rebuild. And today I was on a call with a podcast guest, and while he didn't lose his home, at 21, he lost his eyesight. And it brings up to me this idea of grief and loss. And it's not in life what happens to us, but it's what we choose to do with what happens to us. And so this perspective on how you're looking at what happened. And I know right now so many are suffering, and it's so hard to say, look at, all the amazing family, look at you're still alive, look at all that you do have, even if you lost your home. That's like, no one wants to hear that right now. And I get it. But as Sheila E said, you can't put a price on life. And I think that's so important. Just like this right now, validate all of your feelings, whatever you're going through, and just rely and lean on those who are there to help hold you up.
Absolutely, Lauren. That is so, so, so true. That validate whatever those feelings are. And in grief, we go through a myriad of feelings. We go through shock, we go through denial, and then there's, the depression, and then there's, the sorrow, and the bargaining, and then there's the acceptance. But and then we think that we've moved to acceptance maybe, and we go back to anger again. Something happens, and sometimes we go anger, and then sorrow, and then we go back to anger. We don't even make it this. I remember when I learned about grief, and I thought it was linear, and then I experienced grief, and I'm like, it's not linear at all. and it comes in waves, and you never know when the smallest little thing is going to trigger you. But to honor those feelings, and to validate your feelings and nurture yourself, that self-love and self-care is very, very important. And to have women like these who can speak to this issue in such a real way is very validating. So I'm going to go back around, and I want to ask, what are some tools that you would offer to people right now who are hurting, who are in the midst of suffering? What would you offer to them? And I know we've kind of covered a little bit more, but what's one additional thing, additional tool or message or quote or something that you could offer them? And Lauren, I'm going to start with you.
Again, validate where you are and start focusing on the vision for what you want in the future, as opposed to what has happened in the past. We can't change the past. Focus on what you can control. And that's focusing and thinking thoughts that are going to help you take one step after the other. So loving thoughts, caring thoughts, because you're rewriting your story in this moment. So pay really attention to how you're speaking and how you're thinking.
Right. Paying attention to those things and loving ourselves through that process of rewriting our story. Thank you, Lauren. How about you, Dr. Christina?
I love what you said, Lauren. Really about what you can control and being in this moment. And I often find that when people are going through trauma, I'll often ask people, where's your breath? Because I find that people, they're not breathing. Their breath is really up here. And I think when you're breathing really shallow, I know this might sound like, why would you do that? But when you're not breathing, you can't think clearly. And so really just actually stop and take a big, deep breath. And it really does ground you, because if you're more grounded and you are breathing deeply, you can think more clearly and you're more in the moment. Because when you're breathing like this, you're more anxious and you are thinking more frantically. And so that is just one thing. I think if you can just get your breath calmer, it calms down your whole system. And so I would just offer that one quick tidbit.
Yes, that's amazing. But a lot of people wonder, why do we talk about breath so much? We used to say count to 10 or, different things before we knew how important breath was. But not only does it bring that oxygen, but even just to exhale deeply, it mimics the body's ability to feel safe. And so it calms, our very nervous system to do that. So thank you, Dr. Christina. That's wonderful. And to remember to ask ourselves, what is one thing I can control today? And do that thing. We can control our breath, right? So sometimes, but we can think about controlling our breath and we can work on those things. And so think about what is one thing that you could control today, and do those things that can help us to regulate our nervous system. It's one of the things that I think is amazing is singing can help us regulate our nervous system. We just talked about music and how it calms the soul. And scientifically, when I learned that singing massages the vagus nerve and it helps to calm our nervous system, I was like, wow, there's science behind it. I remember reading that David played the harp or Saul played the harp for David to calm his soul. And I was like, wow, there's even in the Bible, there's actually evidence that music is calming to our soul. And so we can do those things that help calm our nervous system so that we can think more clearly, so we can think about what is the one thing that we can control. And so, Skylar, how about you? What's a takeaway that you can share with the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder of breath. That is something that I'm constantly practicing day in, day out. I was like holding my breath before this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. But for me, this has been an interesting journey. And just fully, like, just wholeheartedly, transparently with you all listening. These past couple of months have been brutal for me. I lost like two very large pillars in my life. And so before the fires, I was already grieving. And if I've learned anything throughout heartbreak, throughout devastation, throughout losing what was, has been community. And I think especially as women, all of us being entrepreneurs and founders and being empaths and supporting and wanting to help others, I've also given myself permission to lean in and lean into my community and those around me, because we're not supposed to be on this journey alone. We're not supposed to have all of the answers all the time. And so my one key takeaway would be lean on your community. There are so many incredible organizations out there that are providing donation centers. There's an amazing organization in Altadena. She's an 8th grader and she's featured on the New York Times for getting together a donation center for young girls. Like, there are so many ways that you can get involved and that you can get support right now. And I really have this hope that regardless of what happened with the devastating wildfires, that it softens our community. And I think that's happening. And that's been super cool to see from this, is that I think people are really rallying around each other. And that's such a beautiful reminder for not only Los Angeles at large, but also on an individual scale.
Absolutely. This is universal. We all go through loss, different kinds of losses. And as I mentioned, trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside you. And any time that you go through loss, it's a process. The grieving process takes a time to go through the different stages. And all of you ladies have gone through your individual losses, and all of you are such great examples of finding hope and then offering empathy and hope to others. Thank you so much for being with us today. You are a beautiful group of women, and I'm so grateful to be associated with you and grateful the ways that you bless my life. And thank you for blessing all of our listeners today and for being with us and being part of the Los Angeles Tribune. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jeff, thank you. And we will go to commercial.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
So that was an example of our podcasters, our community. It was an example of us, one team, one family. We talked today, we had Sheila E started off, and really was about community, was about what her team has done for her, how her life got to where it is, to really look at the foundation. And so stay with those foundations and move forward and learn and listen to them. It's about our understanding and our connectedness together. It's about how the community, we really heal each other by spending time together. And it's how we support the greater community, but also how we support that little community right here. within ourselves. Sometimes it's the person right next to you. And I think that's the important piece when it comes to community, and the message and the story behind it makes a difference every single day. You know, we've talked a little bit about our partners with the Salvation Army and the mission. I'm going to have them put up the slide just for a second. This will be one last time. You know, that's it's just so important, of the people that we really give hope and we work with today. And then the Los Angeles mission, the importance of us encouraging those to really help where you can, volunteer where you can. Go to losangelesmission.org and, you know, whatever you can give. And if not, this is just about the time. If it's just, thank you, Jeff, that's good. If it's just about you just sitting down for a moment and just healing and prayers. If it's for those of you, you know, whatever religion, whatever your background is, whatever you believe in, whether it's taking a rosary and doing a decade for Los Angeles, maybe it's about going to your local church and spending some prayer or doing it at home. Maybe it's again, a meditation or movement, whatever that is. It's about doing that at this moment and taking the moment. And from the Los Angeles Tribune and our partners around the world, we want to say thank you for being part of this. And I think being part of this is also to know a little bit about, you know, like who we are. And, you know, we do have the events coming up next week, and you know, we have, it's just, you can go to latpn.com and it has the event section. You can see them. But it's about that, really staying connected with everybody. What I'd like to do before we go, and then we'll have a little chat and we'll finish up right on time, because we always do, is our CEO, Mr. Mo Rock, did a great TEDx, which I think today means more than ever. It's just, you'll hear what it's about. You'll know what I mean. And I'd like you all to hear it. So just hang with us. We got 18 minutes on the board. We're here about making a difference and really doing this as a community. So I know Jeff's got that all teed up, and whenever he's ready to go, punch the button and we'll go to the TEDx.
Imagine waking up in the morning, grabbing your morning coffee, and opening up your daily newspaper to nothing but headlines that inspire and uplift you. Headlines like the Apollo 11 moon landing and how it inspired people in the 60s, or headlines like the Berlin Wall has collapsed, or even more recently, headlines like the miracle on the Hudson. What would that do to your day when you started off with just positive news? My name is Mo Rock. I'm the CEO of a national newspaper brand, and today, together, we are reimagining journalism. You see, studies reveal that there is a stark contrast between positive news and negative news. In fact, for every piece of news that is solutions-based, that can uplift and inspire you, there are at least 17 that don't. That's 17 to 1. So today, we are actually faced with an epidemic of negative news. We've all heard the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. But why does this have to be the centerpiece of a lot of news production, journalism, and content creation of the world today? There are a lot of incredible journalists that are solutions orientated, and I give a lot of credit to them for doing a great job. And here's the truth that you may not realize, is that everyone in this room is impacting our news. You see, every single time you like a post, every single time you leave a comment on a news article, and every single time you share something, you're not just liking, commenting, and resharing. You're actually casting a vote. You're not only casting a vote for the kind of news you want to consume, but believe it or not, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You see, I believe that news has the power to not just inform you, but it has the power to mold you. Our world views are largely shaped based on the news and content that we consume. And so I want to encourage folks to remember that the next time that they like, comment, and share. Our organization has one question that it always has to ask before we share anything, print anything, or publish anything. Our editorial team asks this one very simple question. Does the following piece of news empower our audience, or does it disempower our audience? What would the world look like if every content creator, every journalist, every time someone posted a news article, they asked that question? Does the following piece of content empower our audience or disempower our audience? And I want to encourage everyone to participate in this process and help us bridge that gap between 17 negative news articles for every one positive. And let's come together and ultimately make this world a better place. Thank you.
You know, what's great about it's how we message, right? And how we do the message around us. And it's been a great show today. I mean, it's really been an event. It's been, everything's about, healing and how we move forward. And also remember, there's people that are not there yet. There's people that have, so we've heard about really where you are at the moment is where you are at the moment. Sometimes it is just some prayer at the moment. It is just a little bit of healing. Sometimes you just need to take a breath because you don't even know what's going on at the moment. Sometimes it's, and sometimes we have a tendency of moving too quickly, right? And we don't take that moment because a lot of times loss and things that leave us, it's painful, and we don't always like to feel pain. Where there are some societies that, make a party of it, or they'll just yell to let it out into the universe, and they're like, okay, all right. And we've all gone through that. It's been just a great day. And at the same time, we've heard music that soothes the soul today. We've heard stories of how, again, we've got to where we are. And I just think this has just been, it's been a blessing. So we're going to go around one more time for really last comments. And then we're going to let this audience go. But don't go yet, audience. Let's go as one team and one family. So at the end, we're going to all say a word together and really let it go and stay focused. And the word can be whatever it is for you. The word that I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and we're really going to talk about community, because everything else, it's about our community. But I'm going to go around one more time, and I'm going to let Karen and Jeff take it wherever they want for their moment, because it is about that. And if you ever want to be part of what we're doing, we're always looking for just great minds, great healing minds, great people out there who are doing something different. We're looking for new podcasters, and it's just, we just keep doing that as we move forward. So with that being said, I'm going to first turn it over to Karen. I'm going to put you in the spot, right? In the spot. Watch this, to Miss Karen Hall.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for bringing up that fact that we're all at different stages. We're all at different levels of readiness, and we may need to just take those breaths. We may need to take that time to nurture ourselves and to feel, instead of ignoring that feeling and jumping over it, kind of thing. And I wanted to just make a little mention of disenfranchised grief, because sometimes when we're grieving, maybe we've lost a pet, and that pet was such a comfort to us and brings us so much joy. And sometimes people say, well, it's just a dog. It's not just a dog. And so I think it's important that we honor each other's losses and we support each other. And as we talked about, with Dr. Christina mentioning, helping each other feel seen and heard, that's a universal need, whether we're in trauma or not. we all need to feel seen and heard and to feel loved and valued. And so to know that someone cares makes all the difference. I can cope with so much when I know that someone cares and that I have support. And when I can do that for someone else, it brings me so much joy. So thank you to all of our audience who are doing that for each other. Thank you for everyone who is praying and offering their support in that way, for every way that you are offering support and offering love to yourself and to others. We're making this world a better place, and we will move forward one step at a time. We will rebuild, and there are good things to look forward to. So thank you, Michael, for your message. Thank you for validating these messages, and thank you for your leadership and your example of service. And thank you to Mo Rock. I never get tired of hearing his TED Talk. I can hear it a million times. I just love that. We are casting our vote for the world that we want to have. And all of you that commented tonight, you're casting your vote. And you're casting your vote for the kind of media that you want and the kind of world you want to live in. And I want to live in a world where we show more love to ourselves and to each other. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff, for being with us also. And I'll turn the time to you.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Mr. Jeff Ross.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you, Karen. Just very blessed to be a part of this amazing team, this amazing community. Thank you, Mo and the rest of the team for just making this space to happen. And to give everybody a safe space to connect and go through that whole conversation of, me too. And through that space, we get to connect, relate, and resonate with each other. And we get to, have that heart-to-heart exchange. Even from here, from a virtual platform, we've talked about, the power of breath. We've talked about the power of a hug. We've talked about the power of being seen, heard, and loved. And, there's one thing that I know that is the ultimate expression of love that we can do here right now, and that's pray for each other. So I'd just like to take 30 seconds, and whether you believe in the power of prayer or not, I just ask that you just meet me at this space with that heart-to-heart exchange, and I'm just going to pray for Los Angeles, if that's okay. Heavenly Father, there's so much pain. There's so much grief right now. There's so much loss. But Lord, I'm reminded that things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And I know when we're going through the storms of life that we can't see that, we're not present to that, we're in survival mode, Lord. So I just ask that you pour your Holy Spirit out, Lord. Pour your love, pour your hope, pour your light out over Los Angeles and those who are truly affected deeply by these fires and the loss in the homes, and thousands of people affected, tens of thousands. And Lord, we just ask that you be with them, that you help them to feel seen, heard, and loved. And may that they know that they know that they know that there is hope, that there is peace, and there is light. Lord, I pray all this to you in Jesus' name. Amen. So thank you. Thank you for just making this space happen, Michael and Karen and Mo and the rest of the team. This message of heartfelt love and hope and light has been sorely needed. And this is just, it's a huge blessing to be a part of this and be part of the story. So thank you for making this happen.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Karen. This is part of the team and the family. This is part of how we do this together. We do have events moving forward, so they're in the chat right now. Please join us. For myself, Mr. Mo Rock, our CEO, Jeff, Karen, our podcasters, Skylar, Lauren, and Christina, to Trevor, just amazing to play the guitar with us, and Miss Sheila E. From myself again, Mr. Mo Rock, and the Los Angeles Tribune. We've been with you since 1886, and we continue to be with you every day. You have a blessed day out there. The word is community. Just take it into your heart, take it into everything you do. And with that, we're going to end for tonight, but we will be with you in the future, and we're always there. Enjoy yourself every day. I look forward to everything you do, everything we do, from the Los Angeles Tribune to the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal to Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network and everything else coming forward. It's been a blessing and a blessing day. Give yourselves just a round of applause for being here. Give yourself heartfelt comments. We're amazing. We're so blessed with what we do. Thank you all. We'll be on this journey together. We'll see you on the next journey we have. Everybody have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.